NYPA, it's time to start the show, so search for the squad and listen out for the promo with the West Wild Spitter, spin his web into a chokehold. Make it unfold, 5 o'clock. Who gives a damn of what your man to say? We spittin' live wireless, leave him shot with the gamma ray. Ain't no runner-up, cause it ain't the closest to candidate. I fly so deep and you draw like Japanese anime. It's just us and the rest, news off the hottest press. Kyle Holton, Philly West, reppin' with the legends, classic interview session, politics, sports segment, live phone, call up with question, it's the NYPA, 95 connection, real people, ain't no scripted cue call for directions, just team on their grind time till it's all perfection, throw it past the satellite so you can catch reception, so touch ground with us, we kill challenges, I murder it for every number on your calendars, from west to the boogie down the Greyhound in this, we Google Spot, Anchor Podcast, pocket this.
Welcome everyone to another episode of NYPA Entertainment Radio. The final season, the final journey, however you want to call it, it's the finale coming up at the end of the year. Now, my apologies. I was supposed to do the show last week and not do the show this week. That was my intention. 2 weeks ago, when I ended the show, I found out when I was about to do the editing process and everything, I was having issues with my equipment, mainly like one of my laptop, which affects different monitors and whatever. It's old, but not that old of a laptop, but wear and tear. And I realized it wasn't charging properly, and I just had enough juice in it to send out that week's show and promote and blah 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 blah. So I had to get a new laptop, get a little bit of another this, another that, and rehook it and so forth. So here I am. So that's what happened. Life be life and things come up. But yeah, originally I wasn't going to do the show this weekend. I was going to do the show last weekend. And they say, hey, don't show this, the following weekend. But the Lord works in mysterious ways. And kind of a bit of a break anyway from last week. So I was like, all right, well, you kind of just swap weekends. And here I am. So it was just a last minute thing that happened. And normally I like to make announcements when I don't do the show, if I'm not going to do the show or whatever. But again, like it happened. Let me adjust myself here because I'm trying to get used to this camera and all that stuff, and make sure I look presentable. So yeah, it came up. It was like at the very last minute. So I had to get a new laptop. It was like affecting everything. It wasn't charging, and it's like sometimes I look up, it's like I got a monitor here, a monitor there, and it affects everything. So yeah, here I am, and I'm still trying to get used to everything. Things popping up on my screen, and like I said, it's a new laptop, so a lot of stuff, new equipment, and everything. So I'm still like learning that. But again, I do appreciate it. So I do apologize. Life be life and things happen. But I'm here this week, so we got a lot of stuff to get into. First, I know I hate to start on a sad note on topics, but unfortunately, as it turns out, we lost another, I would say, TV legend this week, someone I grew up watching, Dr. Danielle Spencer, who played Dee on What's Happening. She passed away at the age of 60 from cancer. It's a doctor because she became a veterinarian after she did What's Happening. So What's Happening Now. And again, just a few weeks ago when you had people like Michael Jamal Warner and Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne and so forth, although I may not have known them personally, but they were, same with Dr. Spencer, was part of my childhood. And What's Happening, I've seen every episode. What's Happening Now wasn't that good because, usually when you do remakes or continuations, usually not. Then that was a continuation back in the 80s. But What's Happening came out in the 70s. like a quick '70s run. I think like I said 3 seasons in the '70s, but they repeated it in the early to mid '80s. So when the time it was created, I was born. By the time it was like your rerun syndication, I was of age. I was like maybe 4, 5, 6 years old. But I could see it, and here in Philly, they used to show it Monday through Friday for like an hour, like on Channel 29 here, from like 5 to 6, like it's a half-hour show. So I've seen like every episode, and then they came out in the mid '80s, around like '85, with what's happening now. New episodes syndicated, and that's the first time I seen Martin Lawrence. First time I saw Martin Lawrence was on that show. Like he came on like in season 2 or what have you. But Danielle Spencer, who's been acting, since she was a little girl, obviously she's from the Bronx, New York, and unfortunately she passed away. But her work lives on, not just in entertainment, but in the medical field, helping animals and being a veterinarian, which is dope. You like, again, the same thing. What I said about Michael Jamal Warner, uh, one of the it's rarely you see a child star not just leave the business but become successful, and she parlayed what she had and became a veterinarian, which is dope. She loved animals and became a veterinarian. And I remember I went to go see. It was in the '90s. I saw a movie with Jack Nicholson. One of my favorite movies. It was called something gotta. Was it something gotta give? Was it? It wasn't something gotta give. It was Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. Had Cuba Gooding Jr., Helen Hunt, and it's not something gotta give. I can't. I'm drawing a blank. But she played a small part. She played a veterinarian in it. I mean, it's the first time I've seen her in years. Since like, what's happening now? And she popped up. She played veterinarian, and I think right after that, I looked into it and found out like, oh, she really is a veterinarian. But going too soon, age of 60, cancer, man. That thing, that's crazy. But yeah, man, her work lives on, like I said, with animals, medical field, and on television. And Google it, man. It's on YouTube, on Tubi, or I think Hulu, whatever. Old clips of what's happening now. Dee, the bratty little sister who made you laugh and made you mad at the same time for her always snitching on Roger and all that stuff. So condolences to family and friends, but her work lives on beyond television. You know what I mean? All right, let's get into it. All right, I gotta move this out the way. It's getting on my nerves. All right, let me see. For sure. All right. Rapper Soulja Boy arrested. Let me stop here. Now, a lot of stuff y'all might maybe already heard. Like I said, I missed last week, so I'm like playing catch up between, last week up to this week. So, although you may have heard about it, you didn't hear it from me because how I put my spin on it's different from everybody else. So, y'all already know that. I will continue. Rapper Soulja Boy arrested on weapon charge during traffic stop in Los Angeles. Soulja Boy was arrested early Sunday morning, last Sunday, during a traffic stop in Los Angeles on a charge of felon in possession of a firearm, according to Los Angeles Police Department. The 35-year-old, sorry, the 35-year-old rapper, whose real name is DeAndre Cortez Way, was a passenger in a vehicle stopped at Genesee and Melrose, said the LAPD. According to LAPD, a gun was discovered in the car, leading to Soulja Boy's arrest. He was later booked into the LAPD's Wilshire Division Jail. The authorities added Soulja Boy was arrested around 2:50 a.m. Online records show it was unclear whether he has been released or where he is currently being held. Uh, In April of 2023, a jury ordered Soulja Boy to pay $235,900 in punitive damages to a woman who claimed he assaulted her at a party at his Malibu home in 2019, according to Los Angeles affiliate KABC TV. The amount matched the I'm sorry, I'm screen acting up. The amount matched the compensatory damages awarded to the woman a week earlier. Soldier Boy denied the assault allegations. This marks Soldier Boy's second arrest involving firearms. You know, stuff like this. This situation, these type of situations, gives me a bit of a head scratch. If you are pretty much, I wouldn't say a felon, but if you know you have a record or you kind of been dancing with the law outside of the line, so to speak, why would you ride dirty at all? Why would you ride dirty? If you have a reputation with arrests, lawyers, police, why would you ride around dirty? Why would you have something to implicate guilt? Why would you have any type of firearm on you when you're not really supposed to? Um, I would try to stay away from stuff like that, or anyone with it, unless they're a licensed bodyguard that has it. That's one thing. They're licensed to have it. Then that's something else. And it sounded like it was like they found it in the truck on the floor. Somebody hit it or whatever the case may be. And it incenses me when I hear about whether athletes or artists or actors or whoever who cannot get out their own way. You know what I mean? Like you went through all this shit in life to become who you are, to be successful, but you can't leave that street shit alone. And you don't, like I said, if it's that dangerous for you to go out, then don't go out. If you got to carry a firearm with you, or again, you got enough money, hire a professional who's licensed to have one and keep it moving. So things like this would happen. Now, apparently, they pulled you over because you tried driving erratically or speeding or whatever the case may be. And again, if you're known for dancing outside the lines with the law, you should be more discreet when you being out. Just being more just off the grid, get to point A to point B and keep it moving. You don't need any more attention. You don't need any more pileups. You don't need none of that stuff. So I never really understood when I hear, I guess you might say repeat offenders, so to speak, who just can't get out their own way. It's like, then you back in the courtroom again. Now you got arrested again. And it's something that can be, in this situation, can be avoided by not carrying firearms, and or if you know you got it on you and you're not supposed to, drawing attention to yourself. I never understood that at all. To me, it's a bit of a head scratcher. I just don't get it. I don't know. But it's an ongoing thing that just doesn't. It's just ongoing. Doesn't make any sense. It just really doesn't. It doesn't at all. All right, let's move on. What else? Nicki Minaj offered Des Bryant $10 million to fight her husband after social media beef. It should be good. If I can get this open. Can I get this open? I can't get this open. Never mind, y'all. It won't let me. I'm not doing all. Okay. My apologies. This page is acting up. And so we're going to ignore that and move on. What are you going to do? It happens. Let's see. Hopefully this next one will be better. Writer, let me see. Nope. Let me get something else. I got so many different ones. So forgive me. All right, this is one I want. Here we go. Sorry about that, y'all. Rapper Sean Kingston, I don't think he's a rapper, sentenced to 3 to 5 years in prison for wire fraud. Kingston, 35, and his mother, Janice Turner, were found guilty in May of defrauding luxury businesses of more than $1 million. Sean Kingston was sentenced to 3 to 5 years, 3.5 years, excuse me, in federal prison and 3 years of supervised release on Friday after a jury found him and his mother guilty of wire fraud earlier this year. Kingston, whose real name is Kashawn Anderson, and his mother, Janice Turner, were found guilty of organized fraud and grand theft charges in May for defrauding businesses for more than $1 million. Turner, 63, was sentenced to 5 years in federal prison last month and 3 years of probation. Uh, Help me with this name. I'm gonna try to mess up the lawyer's name. Is Zelka Bozanik, Kingston's lawyer, argued on Friday that even though Kingston is 35 years old, he still acts like he's a child. She attributes Kingston's crime to a 2011 jet ski accident that left Kingston severely injured. She also argued that Kingston has had no role models growing up besides his mother, who was in prison at the time of his overnight fame, and noted that most of the business have been paid back. Quote, I know he's very, very sorry for what he's done, she said. Kingston briefly addressed the court saying, I've learned from my actions. His attorney needed to adjust the mic for him so he could be heard. The prosecution shot down the notion that Kingston criminal activity had anything to do with his accident and suggested that Kingston be sentenced to 60 months in prison. He's a thief through and through, Mark Anton, a lawyer for the Justice Department, said. The rapper, keep calling him the rapper. A rapper's request of self-surrender due to scheduled medical appointments were denied. He was reminded once the sentencing on Friday concluded. Kingston supporters said, "We love you," as he was being taken away. Another restitution hearing is set for October 16th. Kingston was best known for the '07 hit "Beautiful Girls," was arrested in Fort California in May, following a SWAT raid on the home in Southwest Ranches, Florida, in Broward County. Kingston and his mother were then indicted in 2024. Prosecutors accused Kingston and his mother of using his celebrity name to trick luxury businesses into delivering items before payment. Payment was then made using fraudulent or worthless wire transfers, according to the indictment. Turner and Kingston would then keep the stolen items. Arrest warrants said the mother and son defrauded a jewelry business, a luxury bed company, and used luxury exotic car dealerships, a luxury micro LED TV company. Excuse me. The scheme transpired for several years until March 2024. According to an indictment, Kingston and Turner pleaded not guilty to the charges. Following their conviction, Kingston was ordered to be confined to house arrest with electronic monitoring, while his mother was remanded in federal custody. With his hit "Some Beautiful Girls" reaching number one on the Billboard Hot 100, Kingston became an overnight star at 17 years old. He has released 3 studio albums since the song came out in '07. This to me goes to knowing what's right and what's wrong. You are knowingly just frauding these companies. The whole "I'm so sorry for what I did" and all that stuff, I don't buy it either. You are a thief, because it's bullshit. You weren't coerced into doing it. You weren't forced to do it. You knowingly was doing this, and you did it with a glee, and you would have kept going if you didn't get caught. And at the end of the day, you got what you deserve, because you did it. You knowingly did it. That's the thing. You knowingly, like, when these people, I shouldn't have did this, that, but you knowingly did. You knew what you was doing. You weren't blinded by the light. You weren't, like, you knew what you did. You defrauded these companies, and now you got to pay for it. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't apologize. Yeah, you should, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like following deaf ears, because it's like, well, that's not going to give them their money back. It's not going to give back their livelihood. You don't know how what you did probably affected their businesses and their personal lives and so forth. They were dealing with you in good faith, thinking they were making good business decisions with someone who was honest and were able to work with and be lucrative together, not knowing that it was a scam between you and Mom Dukes the whole time. You know what I mean? And shame on her also by leading the way. But you know, you got what you deserved. And at the end of the day, it was like you knew what you were doing. It wasn't like I got caught up or someone gagged me or I didn't know my accountant blinded me. You went into this whole thing knowing that you were defrauding these companies. You use your celebrityism is not a word, or is it your celebrity status for what that's worth, because I don't think he had a hit song since '07 to get people to do business with you off of false pretenses. So you got what you deserve. And you gotta deal with it. Um, Knowing that, listen, at the end of the day, man, if you're gonna commit a crime, conning people, robbing people, whatever the case may be, you're gonna get some shit before you get caught. You can do all the begging you want to do in the world, but you got to pay for that. And again, folks, this is my opinion, but I feel as though you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing as you're committing these crimes. You knowing that you're sitting back, you're laughing like, oh man, look how much money we're making from this person. Look how much money we get from this person. You know what you're doing. So he's getting the years, his mom getting the years. Um, and hopefully it makes them better people when they come out. Um, do I think anyone will work with him again? Yeah, I think so. I think stranger things have happened. I think so. Um, they probably will with stipulations. Now, when I mean work with him, I mean like do shows and stuff. Yeah, they probably would book him or whatever because they might see dollar signs and they'll figure out how to promote him and get him back out there. Business wise, in terms of doing actual business outside of taking the stage, I'll say no. And if they do, they'll be very apprehensive of dealing with them because of, again, fraudulent terms. And then they're definitely gonna make sure that the I's and cross the T's to make sure that he's not gagging them like he did the other companies. So we'll see. But yeah, man, he got senses. He got to do that time, man. And I had no sympathy. Like I said, you knowingly did it. You knowingly defrauded these companies for $1 million. So and he's going to have to give that back in some shape or form. Yeah, of course you gotta get that back. You're gonna have to. He's gonna have to give that money back and then some. So that's something is why probably why you're gonna have to hit the stage hard when he come out because he's gonna have to get that money back. I'm telling you. What else? I got some a lot of stuff here. Let's see what we got. All right, this is something interesting I came across. Actor Todd Bridges from Different Strokes says Eddie Murphy enlisted Rick James for a drug intervention. Quote, yeah. Quote, I don't want you killing yourself. This is Rick James was brought in to help Todd Bridges, who had drug issues in the 80s, by Eddie Murphy. Rick James helping Todd Bridges dealing with drug issues. Rick James of all people. So this is the story. When arranging an intervention for a loved one struggling with substance abuse, it's a good practice to screen potential interveners for their own substance use habits. Different Soul star Todd Bridges knew he needed help with his own addiction in the 1980s when celebrity pal Eddie Murphy came to the rescue, and Murphy might have been effective if he intervened himself. Quote, I knew Eddie Murphy for a while. Eddie was like, man, you gotta get Todd some help. He's tripping. We gotta help. We gotta find somebody who knows about drugs. Everybody's naming Rick James. Send Rick James over there Bridges revealed in a recent interview. So he continued, they sent Rick James to my house. Bridges, who's is now 32 years sober, but can't exactly assign James any credit for getting him clean. Quote, if any of you guys know anything about Rick James was getting higher than I was at the time, Bridges explained. So Rick comes to my house, opens a car door up, and all this smoke comes out. And I'm like, what's going on? Bridges said in an interview that he knew James from different clubs the celebrities set would frequently during the peak of his Different Strokes fame in the mid '80s. Rick was wild, so when Rick spoke, you listened. He said, let me see your stuff." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Your drugs. Show." He said, "Your drugs." I showed him. He goes, "Man, that's too much. I don't want you killing yourself. That's too much. Let me take half of that so you don't kill yourself." The actor burst into laughter, recalling the puzzling and very much ill-conceived encounter. To boot, Bridges said James started talking to the girl on the couch, and she went with him. I'm ready to kill Rick at this point. So Rick leaves, and I'm like, "What kind of drug intervention was that?" He took my drugs and left. With 3 decades of sobriety under his belt, Bridges has gone on record numerous times about the trauma that led to his addiction and the daunting work it took to change his life. God healed my heart. He healed a lot of pain that I was going through for being molested as a child, from having an alcoholic father, and from years of getting pulled over by the police every day when I was just going to work. Bridges recently explained in another interview. Going through all of that, I developed a chip on my shoulder, and I became angry in everything around. Became angry with everything around me. Bridges said he turned to drugs to cope with the pain, but managed to turn things around when he finally got tired of doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results and getting the same results. Um, What a wild! I love celebrity wild stories, especially if they involve Rick James. And this time, it didn't come from Charlie; it came from Todd Bridges, which is crazy. Like, who would enlist of all people Rick James? Just because someone does a lot of drugs does not mean that you don't go to them for help. Like, he's a drug addict himself. Like, so because he knows it doesn't mean he's an expert on stopping. If he can't even stop himself. He can't stop himself. Um, but that's a wild story. I've seen actual footage online of him telling the story, and again, I love funny behind the scenes celebrity stories, and of course, with Rick James, Charlie Murphy told the best, and if Charlie was, man, I was Charlie was still around. Lord knows all the how crazy Rick James stories we could have got from Charlie. Anyway, speaking of Charlie, and he could have did more. He could have tried a little bit more. He's better off sending Charlie over there and helping him out than getting Rick James to do it. And he knew what Rick James was doing, but everybody's thinking, hey, who knows anything more about drugs hurting people than Rick James? But Rick James is like, don't care. He's like, I'll take half of that, and he took his joint. Yeah, that's too funny. Like that is too funny. To ask Rick James for a so-called intervention, and it wasn't an intervention. He just came by, took his drugs and his girl, and left. Uh, it's crazy. I just recently, because sometimes you catch it online, uh, like different clips, and they show the full sketch just randomly of Charlie Murphy and the Rick James, and I laughed just as hard as I did the first time. I laugh at it now, and the absurdity of the whole thing. And then, of course, you find the Prince story, and all these stories are true. They're true. The Prince story I thought was like a little fabricated. Now Prince said that was real. He like that whole story was it was legit. Eddie Murphy said the same thing also. Um, but to get Rick James as part of a intervention to help someone else out with drugs, That's too funny. That's just a weird thing. I could imagine other funny stories that Top Bridges have encountered with celebrities at that time in the '80s, going through his thing, and it probably just personally is probably some funny stories. I'm a sucker for a good storyteller. I just am. You know what I mean? I'm just him. So that caught my attention. I just thought it was really funny. I thought it was really just like, damn, that's crazy. Like you got Ray James, who in the '80s was just snorting up everything. All right, let us move on. What else I have? I have. Let's see. I'm pulling it up. Busta Rhymes category denies former assistant's assault allegation. Busta Rhymes is denying allegations made by a former assistant who filed a civil suit against the rapper on Monday. The rapper, born Trevor Smith Jr., has been accused by Deshelle Gables of wages and hour violations, assault, battery, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. In the complaint, Gables described an alleged incident in January during which an argument between Gables and the rapper turned physical. In a statement, in a recent statement, Smith says he completely and categorically denies all allegations made against him by Gables. Quote, apparently, the Shield has decided to respond to being let go by manufacturing claims against me in an attempt to attack and damage my reputation, Smith said, telling this outlet that while Gables assisted him for a very brief period, it did not work out. Smith shared his intent to countersue the former assistant, noting that he believes his next steps will expose this for what it is, an attempt to shake down by a disgruntled former assistant. Ultimately, I am certain the truth will prevail. The complaint filed on August 4th claims that Gables' daughter called him during the argument with the rapper in the lobby of Rhymes' Brooklyn residence, and when he tried to send her a text message to respond, Smith allegedly screamed, "Stay the F off your phone," punched Gables in the face twice, and gave him a swollen eye. Gables went to the hospital and filed a police report per the suit. Smith turned himself in to the authorities and faced 3 assault charges. Police said at the time that the NYPD responded to a 911 call near the intersection of J Street and Front Street in Dumbo around 10:15 p.m. on Friday, where a 50-year-old male victim reported past harassment, which included multiple punches from an unidentified assailant. It was reported that Rhymes' alleged victim was his assistant, whom he allegedly berated for using his phone while working. He declined to detail the encounter um, during the interview, telling the interviewer an article in the paper is opposed to a $6 or $7 million settlement. I'm not risking it. Sorry. Gables' suit claims that Smith fired Gables as his assistant because his because he filed a police report and effectively blacklisted Gables from employment opportunities in his chosen field in the music industry. The former assistant claims abusive conduct was a regular occurrence while working for Smith, accusing him of spitting in employees' faces, smacking them on the back of the head, and grabbing their clothes. He also alleged that Smith routinely degraded and screaming at Gables, making unreasonable and demeaning demands. Gables also claims that Smith threatened to bloody his face and get street justice. The rapper also allegedly called Gables a homophobic slur and ridiculed his poor hearing. For his troubles, Gables claims Smith failed to provide proper wage notices, wage statements, including a violation of Fair Labor Standards Act, New York New York labor law wage notice and wage statement violations, failure to spread the hours, failure to pay spread of hours pay New York labor law. Gables is seeking compensatory damages for past lost wages and benefits for future lost wages due to industry blacklist for unpaid minimum wages, overtime wages, and other wages in our violations, as well as liquidated damages as provided by FLSA and New York labor laws. This isn't the first time Rhymes has faced legal issues. The rapper was arrested in '98 for a gun possession charge to which he ultimately pleaded guilty in 2000. He was sentenced to 5 years of probation over the incident. In '08, Rhymes pleaded guilty to assault and drunk driving charges after the driver accused him of attacking him during a pay dispute, as well as subsequent arrest where he told police that he's done a shot of cognac shortly before driving. He also faced charges of attacking a fan at a Amsterdam music festival in '06 and driving without a valid license. Around this time, he was sentenced to 3 years probation for these incidents. In 2015, Rounds was arrested on an assault charge after throwing a protein drink at a gym employee. He pleaded guilty to a non-criminal harassment charge after agreeing to attend anger management classes. You know, it's interesting. These like arrests for celebrities, people catch wind of them, and they're like, "Well, this dude been arrested for X amount of time, and he paid X amount of dollars, so I'm gonna try to get him out of character, so I can get some money out of him." The protein drink, that situation, and a little shit. Now the driving under influence, that's on him. But what I'm saying is, like his assistant and others' assistants, they know about these rappers' history of arrest. They know that all I got to do is say something, and I know I'm going to probably get some money out of it. The fact, as soon as someone smacks me back in the head, threatens physical violence, spit in my face, I'm leaving that day. I'm not there's no the next 5 minutes, there's no the next 10 minutes, there's no the next day, the next hour. It's like, yeah, I'm out. Like either like we're gonna throw down before I bounce because you spit in my face, or whatever. But I'm not gonna sit through all this fucking abuse because I want to make it in the industry. How many times I gotta say that? So cry me a fucking river for those who decide to stick around for X amount of months and years taking these physical abuse when you don't have to. As soon as that person come out of character and they raise their hand at you and they threaten and they say, "Oh, street justice, I'll fuck you," and they get in your face and they spitting them and threaten to bloody your face. Why stick around? That's not a healthy environment. And because they're of someone of status doesn't mean that you're going to make it. But certain celebrities play off of that. And they're like, well, look, stick with me if you want to make it. You know what I mean? I can get you, look at my success, like this, whatever. I don't understand that. I don't understand why anyone will put themselves through that, like the verbal abuse and physical. No, it's not worth it. You do it one time. We gonna get our knees bloody and pink, like we gonna dirty and pink, bloody and pink, whatever. We getting it in. We locking ass, as my boy Mike would say. We going at it. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna be in my face spitting and all that stuff. Like then we gonna be going at it, and then I'm gonna quit right then and there. And then you know what I'm saying? Like no one should take any type of verbal physical abuse at any job, whether it's civilian or celebrity. You shouldn't. You're not coming to work to be abused physically, emotionally, mentally. You come in to make money, get in and get out, and that's it. Not to take this abuse. So you want to stay there that long, and you're thinking because all right, I'm going to parlay this into a career in the industry. I just gotta endure this. Then shame on you, and that's what you get. And it sounds hard. Oh, Kyle, how could you say that? But no, it's true. Because I really, I don't understand why a lot of these cats put themselves do that. Men and women alike. Like, how long you let this man do this to you, or let this woman do this to you, all because it's because you want to make it in the business and in the industry. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's really not. You putting your dignity and pride to the side just for status in life to be somewhere in the industry. So my question is, because sometimes is um, reciprocal. I'm saying it right. Where you become big in the industry, and you might put somebody else do that. Like, I went through it, you gonna go through it too. I've seen it happen. I've heard that it happen. You know what I mean? It's like the old fraternity type thing, where and you join a fraternity or sorority, and they put you through all this shit, and now you're in charge. And then your mentality is, well, if I had to go through it, you have to go through it. Instead of just like stopping and like, nah, we're not put somebody through that again. Um, I don't know, like it just doesn't make sense. Now, on the other side of that, at the end of the day, this all could be bullshit and a disgruntled employee who's mad at the former employer and just let go and just like, well, I'm gonna make up these trumped up charges. You already got a record. You already know for having a temper, anger issues, and I'm gonna make you look bad. I'm gonna get some money out of it. So it's again, everybody. It's his side, Buster's side, everyone together. Somewhere in the middle is the truth. It can be either way. I don't know, but if it is where he was verbally abusive and all that stuff, leave it alone. You should walk out. If you are angry because he let you go and you trying to get something out of it, then shame on you. She did a better job. So there's no way of telling how this is going to end. Quite frankly, you just don't, because only those who are involved know the truth. Well, somewhere in the middle is the truth. But I still don't understand why people put themselves through that every time. Like they like, oh, this happened January 2024, and they just now say something about it now, or they dealt with it for a year, and I just never understood that. I don't know. What else? Let's see. I got a lot here. I have all right, little Doja Cat. Doja Cat defends her position as a rapper during fan debate. Please stop trying to downplay my ability. Here we go. Doja Cat defended her position as a rapper over the weekend when someone on social media sparked a debate of what should be classified as, what she should be classified as. X user, I'm not gonna promote them, wrote last Saturday, August 9th. Hopefully, after Doja drops pop disco album of the century, her fans can stop trying to force her into female rap conversation. Doja said in her recent V magazine cover story, the what? The Vi, her upcoming fifth studio album is a pop-driven project. While the publication also pointed out that she's still rapping on much of the album. The same X user doubled down in a subsequent post by writing, sorry to inform you guys, but you can't be taken seriously as a rapper without ever prioritizing bars, punchlines, wordplay, and storytelling. The very things that make rap what it is. They later claim they asked four different members from Doja's Kittens fan base to share their best Doja bar, and it's crickets. Quote, you don't listen to or read enough of my writing to be able to make this claim. I'm all right. I'm all right at what I do, and sometimes I'm incredible, Doja replied. in the same thread. Please stop trying to downplay my ability. It feels like it feels like you are doling out criticism with no constructiveness based on something that's deeper than just a topic of music. The X user continue emphasizing how examples of Doja punchlines and wordplay would justify positions as an MC, but the Grammy-winning artist was purposefully, I get it out, resistant to providing such because part of me feels like you will immediately shoot it down. What I intend with my work for the listeners to choose what they rock with and what they don't. She wrote back. You have to give me a chance if you're going to make criticisms about the entirety of my raps. You have to listen. You have to read. If you don't read or listen, how will you know? I shouldn't have to sit here on Twitter and give you a simplified snippet. Uh, Simplify a snippet, deconstruct it, and without insulting you, dumbed down version of my writing for you to be able to hear what hundreds of thousands and let's be honest, millions of people are recognizing as adequate rap bars. You aren't stupid. Listen to my music. The same accuser claimed that they've listened to Doja's full catalog and are excited about her upcoming Vibe tracks, Jealous Types, and Take Me Dancing, the latter of which she previewed over the weekend at an after party in San Francisco drag nightclub. Oasis, following her headlining set outside Lands on Friday night, August 8th. Doja debuted the former track during the festival performance. X users, and I'm not gonna promote them, later cited Rakim, Jay-Z, Jeezy as their frame of reference when it comes to rappers, which Doja understands and respected. Jay-Z is great. Jay-Z is a great writer. So is Rakim. Jeezy, and Jeezy have great taste. Thank you for opening up about that. She wrote, "If you listen to every single song of every album I've made, I appreciate that. If you haven't been able to find a bar that you can connect with, that's more than okay. That you're right. Thank you." I'm not a Doja Cat fan, so I don't know. I don't know. Obviously she's a female MC. I'm not going to trash her or say that. I mean, I don't. I couldn't tell you a Doja Cat song. I wouldn't know a Doja Cat song. I barely know what she looks like. To be honest with you, I'm not a Doja Cat fan. Um, the most I will say is a lot of the quote unquote female rappers of today can't hold the candles to female rappers of back then. So number one, let me back up. Whoever this person was, to compare her to a Jay-Z, Rakim, and Jeezy is dead wrong. Number one, Jay-Z doesn't write shit. He doesn't write nothing. It comes off the top of his dome. Anyone who's Jay-Z fan knows how Jay-Z raps. He doesn't write. He doesn't put pen to paper. He listens to the beats and everything's all in his head, and he takes one or two takes, and boom, that's how he does it. Same thing with Biggie. Biggie don't write shit now. That's how they connected because they both can hear a beat. They sit there, size it up, spit it, take one, maybe two takes, and it's done. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with people writing it down. Whatever. Each his own on a microphone. That's their special God given talent. I would number one. I would never. I would not compare her to them. No, she's nowhere near that category. Um, that I know of. At the end of the day, I always say collectively, whoever female rappers out there today can't hold a candle to the Eves, to the Queen Latifahs, to the MC Lights, to the Little Kims, to the Foxy Browns, to the Brats, the Yo-Yos, the Lady Rage, Lady Luck. Like, you can't hold a candle to them. I'm sorry. Now, you can call it bias, but you can't. They don't, today, in general hip hop today, male or female, they're not telling the story. I go down this rabbit hole all the time, and I say this all the time on the show. I've been saying it for years. There's no substance to it. You can tell. The proof is when you when you watch commercials, TV shows, films, the majority of the time you hear 90s hip hop music in the background. Why? Because it's substance. You go on TikTok, they replay that shit like it just came out yesterday. Now, I'm not saying she's not a good artist, and apparently she's good enough because she's making millions, and people are following her and they love her. So whatever, that's fine. Again, I could not put her on the lineup, and I couldn't name none of her songs. I don't know none of her songs or anything like that. Um, guess she's okay. I guess she's fine. You know what I mean? In terms of that, I'm not a fan. I just that's just not my cup of tea. Um, but I just think in general, when it comes to these female rappers overall, women rappers overall, MCs, a lot of them today, although very talented, they can't hold a light to any of them from the late '80s through the '90s or early. You can't. It's just you just can't. It's just what it is. Now again, it's my opinion, but it's true, and I'm sure there's a lot of Doja Cat fans out there who listen to this, who watch this podcast. That's fine. Again, I'm not shitting on her, and I just don't follow it because I don't really like today's music like that. I think today's music is it's just like I said before. It's something like a good meal. When you eat something and it's like it's not horrible and it's not all the way good. It's like it's missing a certain spice or a certain seasoning. And that's how I feel about today's music in general, whether it's male or female overall, in terms of like hip hop or even R&B. I don't think there's even R&B anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's just I can't get into it. I really can't. Like just I can't. But she has the right to defend herself, and like I said, she apparently she's talented enough where she is making albums and have followers and selling out shows, and people love her. So, but I would never put. I would the ex writer Twitter person to compare her to Jay-Z, Rakim, and Jeezy. That's just preposterous. Like, don't even go there. Like, that didn't make any sense. That was stupid. Like, of course she's not on that level. She's nowhere near that level. She would not get to that level. She wouldn't rise to that level. I'll just leave it right there. I'll just leave it. Staying in the world of hip hop, BET Hip Hop and Soul Train Award indefinitely suspended. BET has indefinitely suspended its Hip Hop and Soul Train Awards. In an interview recently, BET President Scott Mills revealed that the two shows are being temporarily put on pause. Quote, I would say that it's less about them being no longer and more about our team having to reimagine them for the changing media landscape that we find ourselves in, Mills says. They aren't gone. He did allude that the shows will return via new format or platform. The two events have served a cultural touchstone celebrating black music and culture. The BET Hip Hop Awards, launched in '06, was hosted by comedian Cat Williams at Atlanta's Fox Theaters. Over the years, it became known for its backstage ciphers where artists would show off their freestyling skills and dynamic on-stage performances. Soul Train Awards, which honor the best in black culture, music, and entertainment, receive its name from the legendary show. It launched in 1987, featured performances by R&B and soul artists. In the meantime, Mills told the outlet that the NAACP Image Awards and Stellar Awards won't be affected. Mills did not discuss BET Awards, known as the Culture Biggest Night. It celebrates the achievements of black artists, actors, athletes, and more across the entertainment industry. In June, BET Awards celebrate 25th anniversary at the Peacock Theater in downtown Los Angeles. Where are the only We're the only culture that has an issue with award shows. We do. We do. We do. We do. You don't hear MTV have issues with the VMAs. You don't hear the Grammys having issues. You don't hear Oscars having issues. You know, only us. Like for whatever reason, there's an issue. Oh, we got to stop it. We got to reformat it. We got to do this. We got to do that. We got to put a pause on it. But I don't understand it. Now, granted, sometimes the production is less than stellar when it's produced on BET. It really is. And at times, you sprinkle a bit of ratchetness in there. It is a little overboard the ratchetness. But at the end of the day, you don't have to stop it indefinitely. I think it's more to that. I think it's more of a cost effective type thing. So what is it? We're trying to reimagine it, which means they're trying to make it cheaper. That's what it is. You know, that's all it is. It's probably two of their most expensive shows, and the two of the most expensive shows, probably with subpar viewership overall. And 9 times out of 10 is not really live. It's already recorded. It like recorded today and it air in September. That's how most Black award shows are, people. It's true. It's rarely that you get a live African American award show. It's usually it's recorded tonight and then you'll see it air in February. Where the white counterparts is live when it happens. It's true. Look it up. So I think more so it's a cost effective thing. I think they're trying to figure out how to make it more streamlined and cheaper, and raise the production value up without really spending money on production. That's my opinion on that. Hopefully they do bring it back, and if they bring it back, it'll be better. And hopefully, it's just it'll be live and get the attention that it deserves. But I think it's more of a cost effective thing. When is it we had to stop them indefinitely? I think it's just they're cutting costs and trimming down something and trying to figure it out financially what to do with it. So if I had a prediction when it comes back, I would say it'll probably be back into either 26 or 27, maybe even 28. So we will see. But I think it's more of a cost effective thing that he's just not saying. Like they're just like trying to trim the fat, and that costs money, and it happens. You know what I mean? It's a business thing. What I'm really saying. You know what I mean? All right. Let's see. All right. What else I got? Here's something. Former Superman actor Dean Cain says he's joining ICE. This is the right thing. Dean Cain says he's going to be sworn in as ICE as an ICE agent ASAP. The actor who starred as Clark Kent / Superman in 1990s TV series Lois and Clark, the new Adventures of Superman revealed last week or so on Fox News that he signed up for the Immigration and Custom Enforcement to carry out President Donald Trump's mass deportation agenda. Quote, I put out a recruitment video yesterday. I'm actually a sworn deputy sheriff and reserve police officer. I wasn't part of ICE, but I was put. But once I put it out there, you put a little blurb on your show. It went crazy. He told in an interview. So now I've spoken with some officials over at ICE, and I will be sworn in as ICE agent ASAP. A couple of Tuesdays ago, Cain posted a video on Instagram encouraging people to join the federal agency, which ramped up hiring after Congress passed a spending bill earlier this summer that gives ICE money to hire 10,000 more staff. I'm stepping up, the actor said. Hopefully, a whole bunch of other former officers, former ICE agents will step up and will meet those recruitment goals immediately and will help protect this country. When the interviewer asked what inspired him to serve his country, Cain responded, "This country was built on patriots stepping up, whether it was popular or not, and doing the right thing. I truly believe this is the right thing." He continued, "We have a broken immigration system. Congress needs to fix it. But an interim President Trump ran on this. He is delivering on this. This is what people voted for. It's what I voted for. He's going to see it through, and I'll do my part and help make sure it happens. Last Thursday, Assistant Homeland Security Secretary Tricia McLaughlin said in an interview that King would be sworn in as an honorary ICE officer in the coming months. Amid ICE hiring expansion, Trump has continued to be criticized for his increased immigration raids since returning to the White House, sparking protests across the country against what critics are called unlawful ICE raids. This has also led to legal disputes, including with California Governor Gavin Newsom over how much control the president has, such as when Trump deployed National Guard troops to Los Angeles earlier this summer over protests. I have a companion piece to go with this before I give my opinion. So I have John Leguizamo slams moron Dean Cain for volunteering to join ICE. Your pronouns are has been. John Leguizamo has no patience for Dean Cain immigration politics. Super Mario Brothers stars blasted the loads of Clark actor after Cain told Fox News last week that he intended to join ICE. What kind of loser volunteers to be an ICE officer? Leguizamo said in a video on Instagram. What a moron. Dean Cain, your pronouns are has been. And the caption of his video, Leguizamo wrote, hashtag Dean Cain volunteered to be an ICE agent. I got one word for you, loser. Frank Grillo, who co-starred with Leguizamo in 2017's The Crash, plays a supporting role in James Gunn's new Superman, with Cain recently criticized as woke, added his own jab in the comments, writing never was. He's quoted, he's never was, ha ha ha. Other celebrities have called out Cain, who has been sworn in as a reserve deputy sheriff and a reserve police officer, over the promotion of ICE. Glee star Kevin McHale and Cain's ICE ambitions are nothing more than a publicity stunt. Look, I know the entertainment business is in shambles, but imagine being so out of work and desperate for attention. I would know that you join ICE. He wrote on Twitter, effing pathetic loser. Comedian Michael Cho also questioned King's support of ICE given his Japanese heritage. Why would you join ICE and encourage people to join ICE when your ancestors were interred at World War II? Cho asked in an Instagram video. King's father was Japanese American, and the actor stated that his family was interred at the Minidoka internment camps in 1940s. You're Japanese. You're not white, Cho continued. Kane's mother of European descent. You're not white. I know you, and you are not white. You have never been white, and no matter how many of those white activities that you participate in, it never is going to make it happen. You're never going to be white, no matter how racist you are. No matter how racist you are, no matter how wrong you act. This has been a big controversial thing. Having him openly say, "Look, listen, let me back up here. I'm not a political show. I don't really dig deep in politics, and I really don't want to get into too much into it. But it does have a bit of entertainment involved, so I'm going to speak on it. But I'm not a political show. I'm not going to really give my political views, and this is not what the show's about. The show's about entertainment, gossip, whatever, and so forth. Not political, religion, and none of that stuff. Make that clear. I'm not giving my political views. I'm not going to whatever. What I'm going to say is real simple. To each his own. And whether it's right or wrong, if he feels as though he wants to do this, so be it. Although he's of Japanese descent, he doesn't care. He feels as though in his heart of hearts he's doing the right thing. Is it a publicity stunt? Only he knows. Is it something he feels as though that he needs to do? Only he knows. But everyone has their right to feel how they want to feel, and everyone has the right to do what they want to do. And if he wants to do it, then go forth, soldier, and do your thing. And but none of us gotta like it, and no one has to cheer him on for him to do it. This is a decision that he felt as though he wanted to do for himself for whatever reason, whether he agrees with the current administration or not. I don't have an answer. I don't know. It's a fucked up thing. Like I said, it's not a political show. I don't get into politics like that. But since it dabbled into the world I like to talk about, which is entertainment, I figure I would bring this up. But it's just, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I was kind of just like shaking my head like, it's crazy. But this is something he feels as though he wants to do. He feels as though he's helping out. That's how he feels. And then we just gotta like, all right, man, okay, homie, that's what you feel. That's what you feel. And we'll see what happens as time goes on. How long it'll last, if it's effective, if he's gonna be successful at it, if it's gonna backfire in his face. Who knows? Who knows? Um, will it affect his career going forward if he decides to get out of it and get into acting? I say yes, it will. Excuse me. I'll be shocked that going forward, if I see him in a movie or a TV show as much as a commercial, a regular commercial going forward. Because I think he kind of blacklisted himself from the industry even more than ever. So we'll see as time goes on the backlash, the fallout, because it just happened, and we just got to see how it affects him and his family and his career going forward. But that's what he wants to do. That's what he wants to do, and he has the right to do it. And those who don't like it have the right to speak out against it. And it's a bit of a head scratcher where he's of a Japanese descent. So I mean, but he has his reasons, and in his mind, he's being a true American patriot. So we shall see. All right, let's see what I got. A few more. I've been away. It's a lot of stuff to talk about. Pusha T doesn't plan to work with Ye again. That's definitely in the past. Don't count on Ye produce Pusha T track any soon. The Clips uh, sat down recently at an interview as the hip hop duo continues to promote their new album. Love this title. Let God Sort Them Out. Pusha was asked directly if he would ever consider working with Ye, Kanye West, again. Yeah, that's it. That's in the past, he said bluntly. That's definitely in the past. Before he was asked the particular question, though, he was asked if he could mention some of the good times they had as members of the GOOD music. Just as a rap aficionado, well being well being being there was special. He replied, creating so appalled in the new God flow were some of my favorite memories. The Good Friday series, that was crazy too. The albums I dropped during that time, like Daytona and It's Almost Dry, they are very, very strong offerings. It goes without saying that me and Ye made great things together. Push has distanced himself from Ye in recent years and told GQ magazine that he doesn't think his former collaborator is a man after Ye took to social media and admitted that he missed being friends with him. Later in the interview, the brothers from Virginia were asked about their favorite albums of all time, and the answers Miles gave may surprise some, especially about the music he listens to while working out. While Push took a more rap eccentric approach. Listen, I love the Killers. I love Red Hot Chili Peppers. Even Billy Joel, Miles said. When I work out in the gym, I have Coldplay playing on YouTube. The Joshua Tree is funny because when I watched MTV back in the 1980s, David Bowie was always on there, and all these years later, Bowie is still at the forefront today. I think that says something about the talent and how it can carry on through the ages. It even outlasts your death. Pusha ad I always was torn between Mobb Deep, the infamous Raekwon's Only Built for Cuban Links, Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt, and Biggie's Life After Death. I could drive anywhere in the world with those four albums and I will be happy. I start with this and then go back to the Ye thing. I love the picks and music. Um, Thought articles like, oh, you'd be surprised what Miles says. Why? Because I love the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I like U2 and Coldplay. Sometimes I do listen to their music when I go to the gym. Um, I love all types of music. It's just not just hip hop and R and B. And I said it on here before. And when I had the playlist, you heard the different types of genres of music I had on the show. So it's not a shock to me. It's like that's dope because his love of music, it goes beyond just hip hop. And I always tell people like, don't just stay, no matter what race, color, creed, him or her, don't just stay in a certain genre because of your race or your culture. Listen to other stuff. If you listen to alternative rock or rock, listen to hip hop and R&B, and vice versa, because you can hear like this wonderful music, man. I love you too. I love Red Hot Chili Peppers, Coldplay, U2, and of course hip hop. Of course, I love Biggie. I love Red. I love Jay-Z. And I love music, man. I love Sinatra. I love Elvis. You know what I mean? I love Coltrane, like jazz. Like I love music, man. My playlist is all over the place because it's music and it's dope and it fits those genres fits whatever how you feel, whatever you're going through. So I love both of their lineups that they listen to, and it's not a shock. And I'm glad that Miles of the Clips love. I love hearing that he loves other genres of music. I love that because I love Elton John. You know what I mean? Billy Joel. You know, Benny and the Jets, Pop Man, than Elton John. I love music. Period. So it's cool. It's good to see that out of you know different genres. Now the fact that Pusha don't want to mess with Ye, that's fine. He probably had. I'm sure there's more to that. And Ye been past years have been out of pocket, and they might have had a discussion, and he didn't like part of how Ye was how Ye was moving, and he was like, I ain't dealing with him. Now, when I say you never say never, because maybe, just maybe, somewhere down the line, because it's still kind of fresh, you never know. They may come back for a collaboration, um, a surprise collaboration years from now. You never know. The Lord works in mysterious ways. You never know. But as of right now, no. Um, you're not gonna do it. It's too fresh. It's too whatever. But I wouldn't be surprised. So we're way down the line, years from now, that they probably do a nice reunion collab on a track. So you never say never. You never know. You never know. You'd be surprised. You know what I mean? You'd be surprised. All right. What else? Oh. John Cena says getting a hair transplant completely changed the course of his career. John Cena, actor, wrestler. John Cena has a new look thanks to a hair transplant he underwent last year, and he's fully embracing it. The actor and wrestling legend opened up about the decision to have the hair transplant in a new interview with People Magazine published this past week, saying that he was confronted with the aspect of aging due to his fans. As I was trying to hide my hair loss, the audience was bringing it to light, he said. I saw their signs that said the bald John Cena that pushed me into going to see what my options were. Cena said it prompted him to start a new routine, which involves red light therapy, minoxidil, vitamins, shampoo, conditioner, as well as undergoing a hair transplant procedure in November. I hate the fact that if there wasn't so much shame around, I have gotten it done 10 years ago. I thought I was alone, but 7 or 8 out of 10 men suffer from thinning or baldness. He said, adding that if somebody's going to sweat somebody sweat me for that, I don't think there's any shame in that. The transplant, he said, completely changed the course of my life. Cena announced in 2024 that he may be retiring from World Wrestling Entertainment (WWE) at the end of this year, telling People Magazine in Thursday's story that age plays a factor in the decision. I'm not as strong or fast as I used to be, he said, adding that his health and my dedication to my partner are the tip of the spear in life right now. So I think every time I go out in the ring, I just want to make sure I'm able to give my all, but it's time to step away. The Peacemaker star also has a robust acting career outside of the work with WWE. Something he said the hair transplant has helped with too. A different hairstyle can identify a part that can get me more work due to the thing I love. Do let me start that line again. A different hairstyle can identify a part that can get me more work. Do the things I love to do, he said. DC Peacemaker, in which Cena plays the titular lead role, will debut his second season this month, HBO Max. DC HBO are owned by CNN's Who Does This article. I'm going to take a look at Peacemaker eventually, but that's another story for another time. I know it's on season 2, but I'm gradually getting into season 1. And I love Cena, but I don't know. I've been hesitant watching Peacemaker. The hair transplant situation. Well, look, man, to each his own. Um, and I get it. Trust me, I do. I have a little tricks of the trade myself that I'm not going to get into for my hair. It happens. You can't control it. But what's funny, society shames you for not looking a certain way. Society shames you if you're overweight. Society shames you if you're not muscular. Society shames you if you're too skinny. Society shames you if your complexion is not clear. Society shames you if your teeth are not straight. Society shames you if your hairline not straight. Society shames you if you wear glasses. Society shames you if you're just not perfect. That is true. Society shames you. And the funny thing is that those who are doing the shaming has the same issue. Now, turn the volume up a little bit more when the volume goes up higher, to say, when you are on television and in theaters. You have to look a certain way because it's fantasy. You can't look like the everyday person, but yet they want you to relate to that person. I don't look like them. I don't like Cena, not because I'm black or he's white, or I look like Idris Elba or Dwayne Johnson or whatever. They work hard to look that way and what have you. I look like me. And everybody's self-conscious about everything. Those who are watching this right now, you're self-conscious about something. Even the most people we think is the most beautiful peoples in the world are self-conscious about something. That's just what it is. Why we're self-conscious? Because we shame people. We do. Look at this shoe. Look at his shoes. Look at his belly. Look at her belly. Look at this. We do that and it's wrong. Let people be who they be. Let them live their life. It's not good to shame someone because they don't look the way you think they should look or they're supposed to look. God made us different for a reason. And of course, you don't like the way you look, you change it, get healthier or whatever. Now everyone is going to look the same. You're not going to look like The Rock. You're not going to look like Cena. You're not going to look like Idris Elba, Brad Pitt, or whomever. Be the best version you can be. I do that every day to be the best version I can be. I'm self-conscious about a lot of stuff, dude. Shit. Hell yeah. I hate being on camera. Right now, I'm looking at the monitor, looking at myself like, oh my God, why do I look that way? I had to, and I'm still fighting through this. I don't like being on camera. I don't. I never did because I'm too busy wondering how I look. Very shallow, but people are mean. People are mean out there. They're like, why you look like that? People are mean. And so it is. I'm being honest with you. I don't like being on there, but whatever. But I know it's something that has to be done, and it's something I want to do. Um, but I can see why he did the hair transplant. And when I saw him for the first time a year or so ago when he was bald, I was like, okay, that's life. And people were laughing at him. Now, these cats that are laughing at him in the audience, I'm like, have you seen yourself? I'm like, you should be able to relate more to him now that he's balding than the fact that he looks perfect. Because usually we're like, hey, I'm balding, dude. John's balding, I'm balding. I feel better. Because he was embracing it. But society, shame on you for balding. Shame on you for not looking like a superhero all the time. We have a serious issue, um, and it has to stop at the end of the day. You know what I mean? There's people who have gone in deep depression because they've been ridiculed because they don't look a certain way or they look a certain way. So he did it, and especially in the field he's in with Hollywood, of course, he got it. Now you think, well, The Rock, yeah, The Rock is bald, and he gets a lot of roles. The Rock will throw in a wig or whatever and keep it moving. So maybe two different types of scenarios. Um, Dave Batista, who I'm about to get into next, another wrestler who's acting, same way. But I guess it's to each his own. You know what I mean? And it might have helped him out a little bit better, a little bit more self conscious and get more self confident because he wasn't used to that. You know what I mean? So um, I get it. I don't frown on people who do enhancements to make themselves look better or feel better because I get it, understand it. Whether it's breasts, booty, lips, just don't go overboard. Hair or whatever, just don't go overboard. Just do enough. Don't go crazy with it. And I understand. I get it. But I'm also I'm very self conscious of all that stuff. You know what I mean? So, all right. Speaking of Dave Batista, I'm gonna get to him. Then one more, and I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm talking a lot, man. I miss you guys. Dave Batista closing deals for Highlander and Roadhouse 2 at Amazon MGM Studios. Uh, sources tell the Dune fran- Sources tell us that the Dune franchise actor Dave Bautista is closing on two Amazon MGM Studio movies. Jag Stalinsky's Highlander, which UA is also behind, and Roadhouse 2, which Dave Bautista will also circling. Bautista will star opposite Henry Cavill in Stalinsky's revival of 1980s swordsman movie, where we hear he's playing the Kurgan, a character made famous by Clancy Brown, an original Sean Connery, Christopher Lambert film. Kurgan was an immortal who was a contender for the prize, the power of all the mortals who ever lived during the life. Kurgan was a bad dude, killing and raping and taking the heads of many immortals. In the original movie, his foe was Lambert Connor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeods. Batista joins Roadhouse 2 opposite Jake Gyllenhaal, who's coming back as a UFC fighter Dalton from a script by Will Beal, Bad Boys Ride or Die. Roadhouse 2 is produced by Atlantis Entertainment, Charles Roven, and Alex Gardner. Gyllenhaal 9-story production with Josh McLaughlin executive producing. As we first told you, Guy Ritchie no longer directing. Nobody's Aya Newsholler will direct. Roadhouse, released last year on Prime Video, pulled in 80 million viewers worldwide in the first 8 weeks on the service. One of the top Amazon MGM Studio movies ever viewed. Now, I'm gonna stop there. Duncan. Now I was talking about Dave Batista. Batista, if you know Dave Batista, he has a shaved head. He's bald also. And when Batista first started wrestling, I first saw him, but he had a head full of hair, and as time went on, and he got thinner, thinner, thinner. He embraced it. He shaved it, and in different movies, they put wigs on him. That's fine. Now, again, we've seen him possibly he knows it looks like with his head shaven and it made it look right, and maybe more of his roles especially played, he would rather have more of a natural look per se. Um, Highlander is a classic movie and TV show, so look forward to that. What I'm gonna have to do with Roadhouse, I'm gonna have to go back on Prime and watch Roadhouse, and I meant to, and I didn't, so I will. So Roadhouse 2 comes out, I know what I'm looking at because I'm a big Dave Bautista fan since wrestling. And I like Jake Gyllenhaal. I never got a chance to watch Roadhouse. The original Roadhouse, Patrick Swayze was dope as shit. So I will definitely check out the original Roadhouse before Roadhouse 2 come out. But Amazon got some double bubbles coming up with Dave Bautista and Highlander and Roadhouse 2. Batista, who first retired, like he's like, hey, I'm done wrestling. Movies is the way to go. And again, another cat, shaved head. And I think some people who decide to go bald and shave their head, it looks good on them. And then some who might want to hold on to their hair, kind of like I don't look good bald, and it looks better. And I think different ethnicities depend on that also, because I think like Batista's like Filipino or something else. Rock is Black and Samoan and might fit them better than a Caucasian cat. I'm just saying. Anyway, check out for that if you're a Dave Bautista fan. Roadhouse 2, Highlander, the revamped Highlander coming out probably sometime in 27 and 28. So check that joint out. I will definitely go look at Roadhouse original on Amazon Prime, and by the time Roadhouse 2 come out, I'll be prepared for it. You know what I mean? All right, I'm gonna give you one more, and then I'm gonna let you guys and gals go. How about pull this up? Byron Allen sells 10 TV stations to Gray Media for $171 million. I can pull this up. All right. The deal, which Gray expects to close in the fourth quarter, subject to regulatory approval and closing conditions, will bring Gray into three new local TV markets: Tupelo, Mississippi, Terre Haute, Indiana, and West Lafayette, Indiana per Gray. The sale is expected to strengthen the company's presence in the seven other markets by creating new duopolies that would allow Gray to preserve and deepen public service to their communities with expanded local news, local weather, and local sports programming. So it's like smaller markets, but they do making money. Gray anticipates closing the transaction in the fourth quarter of this year, following the receipt of regulatory approval, including certain waivers of FCC local ownership rules and other customary closing conditions. Following a decade of investing in local TV stations, media mogul Byron Allen hired investment bank Moelis and Company in June to help him sell the collections of 28 network affiliate stations in medium and small markets across the country. The sale of these 10 stations marked the first big transaction in Allen's offloading process. Allen started his company more than 30 years ago with a single talk show that he hosted. Today, he owns numerous lifestyle channels, the Weather Channel, and digital outlets, including the Grio and HBCU Go. Damn. It astonishes me every time I read about Byron Allen. And stand-up comedian from the 1970s, 1980s, who's like his own talk show and all that. You would never know he's one of the richest cats in the world, and had all these different networks and stations and the whole nine. And you didn't know he was doing this behind the scenes. Like, like, where did Byron get all this money from? That man is smart. He like what he does behind the scenes and the stations he owns. Like, that's smart. And I love business. And you would never have known this comedian and a comedian will parlay his late night show, talk show he had, Byron Allen show, and he just invested in small stations and small markets, which is smart. Accumulated it, flipped it, boom, selling 100. He's $171 million richer. He's already a billionaire. And that's just a feather in his cap, and that's just smart business. And every time I see his name, I'm like, Byron Allen, Byron Allen? Because I remember Byron Allen from when I was a kid, just watching him doing stand up and a show he was on, I can't remember. That's incredible. It's a show if you on channel NBC when I was a kid. That's first time so that's incredible. Different little stand ups, Byron Allen show, and then he disappear. Next thing I know, he pops up, man's a billionaire. So I'm like astonished when I read about it. I'm just saying, oh, like, go ahead, Byron, do your thing, baby. Like he's doing it. He's doing it. Like he's one of the few out there is flipping it and making that cash, man. Different streams of revenue. You know what I'm saying? Before I go, the movie that I now popped in my head in the end that Danielle Spencer was in when I circle back to the beginning was As Good as It Gets. That's what the movie was. Jack Nicholson, Cuba Gooding Jr., Helen Hunt. Was As Good as It Gets, where she played a veterinarian. That's the first time I saw her in years. I know I'm jumping around. It was in the 90s. I ain't seen her since then, and she played a veterinarian. Kind of found out she really was a veterinarian. So it wasn't Something Gotta Give. It was, which was another Jack Nicholson movie. It was as good as It Gets. Popped in my head right there. So I cracked it. There you go. Circle of Life. Circle of Life. Circle of Life. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'll talk to you off long enough. I missed you guys. Like I said originally, I wasn't going to do the show this week. It's supposed to be last week, but things happen, and here I is. So with that being said, appreciate you, appreciate the support and the whole nine, and always remember to subscribe here on YouTube or any other platforms, Spotify. And the final run is coming to an end December of this year. And then in 2026, Who is Kyle Graham will make an appearance here on Riverside.fm. Let me think. I'll say that for another time. I was going to say something. I'll say that for another time. But appreciate you. Thank you for taking time out for letting me do my best to entertain you, give you what's going on. And again, I apologize. Things be happening, life be life, and equipment's be breaking, and that's what happened. So again, Lord willing, I'm back up here next week, here in another episode of the final season, the final journey of NYPA Entertainment Radio. And like I said before, listen, as I always say, believe whatever high power you believe in. Stay focused. Take it day by day. It's easier said than done. I know. Trust me. Trust me. I know. It'll all work out in the end. You got to be patient, and you're loved. You're loved. You just got to remember that and keep positive people around you. And one thing I try to do each week is try to get your mind off your problems and try to give you the best show as possible. I do have some guests in mind that I want to have on the show. I really do. If it's not on this one, I'm debating if I should push it off to the new show or keep it on this one. I'm still debating that, but I do have a list of people that I'm working on, but I don't know which show I want to do it for. So it sounds crazy, but I'm being open with you, I'm being honest. But as always, thank you. Press the subscribe button for YouTube. Let everybody know about NYPA Entertainment Radio, the final run, the final season. Who is Kyle Graham's coming in 2026. And get at me on Instagram. Get at me on Facebook. It's Kyle L. Graham on Facebook. At NYPAENT Radio on Instagram. Eventually that's going to change, obviously. But still up and running. So get at me if you got, want to follow. Find out what's going on with the show and the new show coming up and amongst other things. So that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, enjoy your week. Stay safe. Stay cool as we get through the dog days of summer. And then that's it. NYP and him radio. I'm going to clap. You'll see the logo. Can't play the outro anymore. I explained that to you. So that's it. NYPA Entertainment Radio.